morning, this is the COT data video for the week beginning the 17th of February 2025. Just wanted to do a quick summary recap of what we've accomplished this week. We did quite a lot, so it was a good week for us in the quasi-DB service. And also, one of our guys is is making a crazy amounts of profit now using the bubbles and using the QDB scores and the he's using this metric down here. He's looking at this, and he's making a lot of money now, which is really cool. So we come to the predictor sentiment. That uses past data to predict future values. So basically, if they short, they should continue to short, and then we'll get like a strong bias. And then so therefore we got a thing called future bubbles, and we can use those for trade ideas. What I'd like to do, I'll keep an eye on it, but I will look at the static bubbles, like the now bubbles, the snapshot stuff. Okay, so this is how we ended up with a weak CAD and a strong New Zealand dollar. And so just a quick summary is that we're looking at the past values for the projected values. That in itself is really amazing because it gives us what if scenarios. If they continue to hold, it's going to be a stronger buy, and it will also tell us the values of where the bubbles are going to be. So there's a strong shift in there on the New Zealand dollar. So that gives us a strong buy indication. And we can see on the volumes that agreed. Now, the second part of the things that we've accomplished this week is we're looking at a new bot, and the bot's looking at this volume delta, look at the performance there. And what it does, it captures it nice and early. So it captures the biggest mover as soon as it appears. As soon as anything materializes in the volume sense, it will capture it and it will trade it. So obviously that was a huge success, and that was a great success as well. But you can see why New Zealand dollar CAD it performed so well. Just look at the future bubbles. And so the bot made a crazy amount of profit, the 2.0. The old bot is doing really well, and that's making a lot of profit as well. So I just wanted to talk about that, what we accomplished this week. We've done a lot, which is really cool. I'm not sure what was planned next week, but we'll wait and see. So let's look at the COT data. We have to come to the downloads, and then remember on the Discord, you're going to click that link here, and then you're going to download it, and then it's going to come here. What you need to do is right click it, properties, and you need to go to unblock, apply, okay, and then you're going to double click it. And then you need to unblock it because it's got macros in there, and it thinks it's a bit suspicious, but it's not. It's just Microsoft. So come to chart page. Obviously, enable the content. Chart page, and we can see how we are. Well, this is the first time I've seen this. This is brand new. Christian's just given it to us right now. Move chart, new sheet. Call it net non-coms. This is the banks and institutions. And so we can see the dollar has been quite stable, 14,200 to 15,000. The euro ticks slightly down now. However, we're seeing a big rebound on the euro. So I think what's going to happen, because this data is delayed, this should perk up. This fell because of the tariff fears. Now, Trump's put in a deadline for April. So there's plenty of time before negotiation. And so it's a big fear event on the euro, and even the banks and institutions weren't sure, hence the selling. So I think this is going to probably perk up on Friday when we get the COT data next week. Okay, so remember, this is from Tuesday. Okay, so while it's really powerful, there is a bit of a delay, but it does tell us how the banks were positioned prior to the Tuesday cutover. And obviously they were a little bit unsure about the Trump tariff policy, as we all were. No one knew what he was going to do. Even the banks weren't privy to that information. So hence the chop that we had. Don't forget, last week we had the CPI, we had the Powell testimony ×2, we had the Trump tweets, and we had the reciprocal tariff news as well. And also the Russia-Ukraine news event. That risk event is probably going to dissipate, and there's going to be a meeting of Putin and Trump. So that's massive. Okay, so it was a big week last week. So all those variables and those permutations are going to impact this when we see it next week. Okay, so I think this is going to perk up. Okay, keep euro on. Look at the yen. Now, the yen was strengthening, and it has continued to do so. Now, my theory was that we were compressing for a move higher, because you can see this W on this orange line. It looked like it had been squished. You know, it had accumulated for a dispersion, for a distribution. Do you know what I mean? It looks like it's springing, like it compressed, and it's going to pounce, and it looks like it's doing it. So that's going as forecast, as I thought it would, and it's actually really strong. 54, considering we were minus 180,000. We've come a long way, and we could go higher. Note that the yen is stronger than the dollar, and it's stronger than the euro. So another thing in Discord is that we've got bank analysis. There is a trade set up in there that Marco's provided for us. A big bank has put out a position on the euro yen. So do check Discord, and then check your bank forecast and analysis. There's a setup in there. Okay, so it's really cool. Marco's doing that for him. He's got a new title. All right, so here's the guy populating all these cool information and really powerful macro in there. Okay, so there's an EJ trade set up in there. Okay, euro off, Aussie on, and God, it is pretty messy out there. I've got to be honest. Aussie ticked higher, 75 to 65. So that was a quite an increase, but we are still below zero. But it looks like it might want to try and go up higher. That yen is definitely of note, though. Pay attention to that, I think. Pound ticks slightly. we're just negative, just minus 3,000. So remember, we've got these supports, like I said last week. Okay, we've got these supports. In fact, we could probably argue 2, 3. Could probably argue like a third in recent memory. And so therefore that should probably hold. If we broke these supports, it could be really bad for the pound. Pound off, CAD on. CAD's been really heavy, and it's looking like it might want to maybe go high, but we have got that low. It was a historically poor value there. Nearly minus 200,000 contracts. They were so bearish on the CAD. It was crazy. It's ticked up slightly higher. 5,000. Yeah, so a little bit of an increase there. So have to keep an eye on that. And gold on. Gold's going to be off. No, do note that there are lots of late longs, and RP has made a really good insight in so much as that platinum moves and then gold follows, which you might not be aware of. So if you've got an ability to look at a platinum chart, that indicated the fall that we had on gold. So it might be because platinum's not that readily traded by retail traders. Well, gold is, so that could be a big clue. So if you want to know about gold direction, have a look at the platinum price. So that's a really good insight from RP in Discord. So there we have seen a slight decrease, and this could be the top. We've made like a head and shoulders as well, but keep an eye on that platinum, I suppose, if you're trading gold. And I can't remember the suffix for it. I think it's XN. No, that's natural gas, isn't it? Platinum ticker. I can't remember. Keep an eye on this. Keep it, I guess. I just installed Chrome. XPT. That's what you need to look at. All right, and that gives us a clue about gold. All right, come back here. So XPT. I'll try and remember that. Gold off, and we can look at the peso because it's been subject to Trump, hasn't it? And we are slightly higher, but we're neck and neck with the dollar, so there isn't anything there. We're just completely tied with the dollar there. Peso off, New Zealand dollar on, and we're just sideways. 49,000. We'll come up. 47, added slightly, a tiny amount there onto the short side, but pretty sideways, to be honest. So I think the key is to keep an eye on that yen. That's going to be of note. Okay, $1 off, and Swiss franc, and then that's the video. So just we were kind of range bound, aren't we? So it was a great week. The QDB bot one was really profitable. Made nearly 500 pips, which is crazy considering the volatility and the uncertainty around Trump. The QDB bot 2.0 is going really well, and we've got predictor bubbles as well, which is pretty awesome. And this new logic is looking at the volumes, and also well done as well. If you're making big bucks, you're doing well, and that's great. It's not an easy thing to be trading, but as long as you've got a good system and you stick to your rules, and you can make lots of profit, as evident by Discord. And it's a bit crazy how much people are making. I'm a little bit jealous, but good, it's good for them. And that's it. So hopefully it was useful, and keep an eye on that yen. And remember that data is slightly delayed as well. So I think we're going to see a change in the positioning on the euro. And don't forget, we've got until April before those deals get finalised. And lastly, the Russia-Ukraine peace talks. That's going to send risk flying, and possibly the dollar to dump as well, because there's not going to be much need for a safe haven in the USD. That's the COT data video for this week ahead, and I wish you a great weekend, and I'll speak to you guys soon.